Today is June 17th, and this is The View with Catherine.Chang. Today's topics are tension of the Korea Peninsula and cross-strait relations, and Taiwan is free from the FMD zone. First, I want to talk about tension of the Korean Peninsula and cross-strait relations after North Korea blew up an inter-Korea liaison office building in Gaicheon Industrial Zone yesterday. There are some significant developments between South Korea, North Korea, Taiwan, China, and the United States within 24 hours. Let's take a look. First, in South Korea, after the explosion in the inter-Korean liaison office, it is kind of destruction of Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in's inter-Korea peace agreement in 2018. And South Korea held an emergency meeting, and Ching Wa-tai, the presidential office in South Korea, also issued a strong statement and stated that North Korea should bear all the consequences. And second, in China, there were two actions against Taiwan yesterday. First, China's J-10 fighter flew into Taiwan's southwestern ADIZ, and that is what we call the Air Defense Inter-Identification Zone. And afterwards, the CCP, Chinese Communist Party controlled media CCTV, posted a video about 823炮战, 823 artillery bombardment in 1958. And the title is, What Kind of Fate Will Jinmen Face? Well, Jinmen, Kinmen, is an island right between China and Taiwan. People think that it is a gate to enter Taiwan. I think the video is obviously threatening Taiwan. And what is the bombardment about? Let me explain. The 823 artillery bombardment happened in 1958. Chinese People's Liberation Army, they fired more than 470,000 shells at Kinmen for 44 days. But in the end, Taiwan defended. So we have a free and democratic Taiwan now. Well, even the CCP brought up this issue to threaten Taiwan, but I don't think Taiwanese people will be intimidated. Third, in Taiwan, the first female Taiwanese representative to the United States has appeared, and she is Hsiao Bi-khim. Hsiao Bi-khim. Well, how come the pronunciation will be like Beijing? Actually, it's Bi-khim. Bi-khim pronunciation is a Taiwanese pronunciation of her name. Well, we talked about her before, and Hsiao Bi-khim had become a National Security Council advisor on April, and she graduated with a master's degree in political science from Columbia University in New York. And she was a legislator before. We know that President Tsai Ing-wen attaches great importance to her. I think her station in Washington will fully carry through President Tsai's will and communicate smoothly with the United States. And fourth, in the United States, the most important thing today is the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is going to meet with China's top diplomat Yang Jiechi in Hawaii. Yang Jiechi once held a position as Chinese ambassador to the United States and belonged to the Hawks. And he used to have a nickname called Tiger Yang. He's kind of aggressive. And Pompeo also criticized China strongly recently. So what will they talk about in the meeting? Hong Kong issue, Taiwan issue, or the Korean Peninsula issue? Well, I hope they don't get into a fight. Watch out for the stones, or watch out for the rocks. Well, second issue I want to talk about is Taiwan is free from the FMD zone. Well, FMD is food and mouth disease. After 24 years of hard work, Taiwan finally succeeded. Speaking of the AMD in 1997, the situation is kind of similar to COVID-19 now. At that time, the FMD was confirmed to be a virus from China, and Taiwan was affected by the loss of 170 billion NT dollars a year. But Taiwan can finally resume pork export now. It is really great. Taiwan, good job. Here are the top stories. Today, we have 0 confirmed cases. North Korea destroys inter-Korean liaison office in terrific explosion yesterday. And the North Korea's military, they plan to re-enter inter-Korea cooperation sites. And the North General Staff announced today it will redeploy troops to now shutter inter-Korean cooperation site, reinstall guard posts, and resume military exercise at frontline areas, nullifying the landmark reconciliation deals reached with South Korea just 2 years ago. And we know that Kim Jong-un, a powerful sister of the leader, described South Korea's President Moon Jae-in's comments over his remarks on inter-Korea relations earlier this week on the 20th anniversary of the historic Seoul-Pyongyang summit as shameless and sophistry, and also ridicule his view. We know that Ching-Hwa Tai, I say that is the South Korea President's office. Ching-Hwa Tai's Senior Secretary for Public Communications, Woo Dong-han, fought back and said it is a senseless act to disparage. And also, we should say that the whole thing that, and the whole thing we're talking about, the comment is very rude and also without understanding this purpose at all. We know, except for that, the Taiwanese President Office spokesperson said that in an effort to maintain stability, Taiwan's national security team has been keeping a close eye on these latest developments in North Korea. And also, let's take a look at China-India. Well, there are 20 Indian troops killed in Himalayas clash with the Chinese army. And the tensions along the China-India border high in Himalayas have flared again in recent weeks. The Indian and Chinese troops fought each other with just fists and rocks. And China accused Indian forces of carrying out provocative attack on this troop. And also, Beijing reports 31 new COVID-19 cases, totally climbed to 137 in 6 days, and say that the late-night announcement on Tuesday shut down all schools, banned residents from middle and high-risk areas from leaving the city, and suspended all outdoor sports and entertainment activities. 2 airports in Beijing have canceled 1,255 flights, nearly 7% of all scheduled trips for today. And former DPP legislator Hsiao Bi-khim appointed as the first female Taiwan's representative to the United States, as I mentioned earlier. And people in Taiwan really think that she is the right person in the job. Also about Taiwan, I want to tell you a good news. I mentioned in the beginning of the show, Taiwan has been officially declared a foot and mouth disease-free zone where vaccination is not practiced. The declaration expected to facilitate the resumption of the fresh pork export from Taiwan after 24 years of hiatus. Well, I believe many friends from abroad, you can start to have some very nice pork from Taiwan. You can eat delicious Taiwanese pork. Let me introduce some of the major food here. Well, you can see that pork chop, and also we say 卤肉饭, braised pork rice, and also 叉烧肉. And this is the, the pig leg. I would say that, but I didn't see any. What I like is 红烧猪肉. It's a soy sauce braised pork that I like it very much. You need to add some soy sauce and brown sugar and potatoes. That's really delicious, and I'm watering my mouth. I want to go home and eat some pork, especially 红烧肉. Well, we want to thank all the pig farmers in Taiwan for their efforts. That's really good job. Thank you. 谢谢. 多谢. Oh, that will be the view for today. I'm Catherine Chang. I'll see you tomorrow.